We're coming from a place of doing. We've been so conditioned in our lives to do something in order to attain a result that we spend more time doing than we do being. Because the clearing ultimately is a state of being. It's not about doing anything. If you're going to do something, it means you know what you're doing, you know how to do it, and you know how to fix it, which means you know that there's a problem. And in the years that I've been teaching this, I've come to the conclusion that no one really knows what they're doing. No one knows how to fix it, because if they did, I think the world would be a very, very different place than it is today. We experience a lot of conflict today. We experience a lot of trauma, mismanagement, all sorts of problems manifesting in the world. If people knew what the problem was, then I believe we wouldn't be experiencing that right now. But I don't believe anybody really knows. You may believe you know because of what you've learned, because of where you've come from, because of childhood, because of conditioning, because of education, because of what you've felt attracted to or drawn to, what you've given your energy to, but it doesn't necessarily mean that is what's going on. I'm not sure if it was actually the Buddha or not. Don't believe a word anyone tells you. Don't believe a word, even if it's written down. Who wrote it? Did they know what they were doing? I know I don't know. This is not about me knowing. It's not about my sharing a knowing. It's about sharing a journey. And on the journey, that which I've come to understand. But it's not about my knowing what's going on. I don't claim to do that. I don't think it's possible that we can know whilst we're still caught in limited personality, whilst we still associate with various phenomena, whilst we still think we're the emotion, we're the thought, we're the body. We need to let go of all of that. But you can't just sort of say, okay, well, I'll step out of it. Some people have managed to do that, and they're no longer the body, they're no longer the thought, the emotion. But of course, if you don't have any previous experience, that can be a pretty strange place to find yourself. You've got no frame of reference, you've got no roadmap, all of a sudden you're lost. On my journeys in this particular body, I've come across a lot of people who've tried to accelerate the process through various chemicals, through various yoga practices, and you can see them wandering the beaches of exotic islands, big round eyes, no one home. Huh? Out of body, out of mind, not sure when I'm coming back. Huh? You get lost. One of the most important points of becoming involved in clearing, in doing this work and becoming this way of being, is non-identification with phenomena. And if you can actually do that right now, then there's nothing else to do. But because our conditioning tends to keep pulling us back into an old way of doing something, it appears to be a struggle with the self. That we're in conflict with the self because we should be doing this, but we're doing that. We should be thinking this, but we're thinking that. All of the time we exist in that conflict. The peace that we may be looking for is impossible to attain. So the most important part of this, and we'll talk about this over and over through the workshops, is non-identification with phenomena. How do you do that? What does it mean? We are so conditioned to think that a thought will arise, and it arises in my mind. Think about that one for a moment. Use your brain to analyze. Do you think you have a mind? Can you point it out? Where is it? Research done a few years ago discovered, I think, that mind is non-local. It's not contained in time and space. It's not in here, that's the brain. It's just as easily in here as it is anywhere else. But if it's non-local, that means it's not contained in time and space. Where is it then if it's not contained in time and space? You believe yourself to be contained in time and space because you believe you're the body. So then you can only be an aspect of mind while you continue to believe that you're the body, you're the thoughts, you're the emotions, rather than recognizing that you are the mind manifesting. This is all the mind. Look around. This is all a manifestation of the mind. Everywhere you go is a manifestation of the mind. It's a product. I think Lynn McTaggart calls it the field. I often call it the cosmic soup. There's a great big sea of consciousness in which we all swim, we're all a part of, but everything else is. It's all a manifestation of mind. The Buddha was reported to have said, since everything is a product of one's own mind, empty of meaning like a magician's illusion, having nothing to do with good or bad, right or wrong, one might well burst out in laughter. Oh, better. I had to say that for 6 years before I started to understand what he was talking about. It's all a product of the mind, and we give so much energy to it, we give so much power to it, we are so concerned by it, we're so afraid of it, we're so limited by it, we have to do this, we have to do that. And yet when we realize that it's all a product of the mind, but whose mind? Can't be yours because you don't have one. It's the collective, it's the mind, it's all of us, all together. And we all energize various ways of being, various concepts, various points of view. These are all aspects of mind expressing itself. But all of the time we judge one aspect of mind as better or worse, we remain polarized. All of the time remain polarized, we judge. All of the time we're lost in that polarity, we're in conflict. All of the time we're in conflict inside, conflict manifests outside. So by our continued association and identification with phenomena, we remain a part of the problem of whatever.